Hello everyone, welcome back to Thoughts to Strokes by Rekha. I hope you are enjoying the recorded sessions that were uploaded earlier, and the kids are trying out based on the recorded sessions. Very quickly, today we will start with the third session, that is on mandala painting. And specifically I had mentioned that it is going to be on with acrylic colors, because all this while most of my live sessions and the recorded sessions I have been using only the sketch pens and the other colors. But those of you who have the colors, acrylic colors and brushes at home, they can I wanted to make something for them as well, and that's why I have decided that because today's mandala painting is going to be very basic, because even the 5-year-old 6-year-old kids can try this. So there will be easier structures to paint. Okay, so it's not going to be very complicated. That's why I have decided that we will do it with the paints this time. So those of you who do not have it, you can still watch the video, because I'm going to the basics of making the mandala or drawing the mandala is going to be the same. So coloring is always your choice. Like I always say, whatever colors you have, you can use them and color them. Okay, so there's nothing to be taught to how to draw or paint with or color with sketch pens or crayons or whatever other mediums, but there will be a little basics that have to be taught with the brushes. So that's why I will be in the session, the coloring would be done with the acrylic colors. Okay, so quickly moving to the things that will be we will need for the session are any piece of paper. I would recommend that you would take a square paper like this. So what I am using is a little thick paper. This is an acrylic drawing sheet. So if you have a thick paper, good enough, because it will be easier to store it for the future. But if you do not have, no worries, you can just use a normal A4 size sheet. Okay, and you can cut it to square shape and then use it for this purpose. Okay, so now how to make an A4 size sheet into a square sheet, I will just quickly show you. So this is an A4 size sheet that we have. Okay, and you just fold it. I had shown it to you in the earlier sessions as well. Okay, now just fold it to bring these together, and then whatever crease is left over here, this rectangle, okay, you fold it and cut this piece. You fold it and cut this piece. Okay, and the leftover sheet will be your square piece like this. Okay, so now other than the paper, what are the other things that you will need is you will need a pencil, you will need a compass, a pencil, a scale or a ruler, whatever you are comfortable saying it, an eraser, very important for any particular person who is doing any sort of art. Okay, and then you will also need a protractor. Okay, Now do not worry at the beginning of the video that if you do not have any of these supplies, okay. I'm sure all of you will have an eraser, scale and a pencil, but if you do not have a protractor and a compass, no worries, because while the session goes on, I will tell you how to build upon without this as well, okay. For today's design, you can do it without these two appliances as well, and moreover, we are not going to be using this. I will just give you an input of how to use it, okay. We are not going to use this at all in the video, okay. Now having said this, we will quickly begin the session. So for any painting that you do, okay, you always have to mark your center. Now I'm not talking only about the mandala, but any sort of painting, it is better to mark the center so that you get the orientation of the entire scene that you're creating, or the portraits that you're making, or a landscape that you're making, so that you have an idea about you know, the space on your right and the space on your left. So marking the center is very, very important, okay. So now how do you mark your center? Is always just draw diagonal lines joining the diagonal corners like this, okay, on both the sides. Now wherever your diagonals meet, that is the center of your page, okay. Now this rule applies for all the shapes, okay, of the paper. That means, like, obviously you will have either it is going to be a square or a rectangle. So both the cases, you just join the diagonals and mark the center, okay. So if you're drawing, taking a rectangular sheet, and if you're making it horizontally, join the horizontal diagonals, okay. Place the sheet horizontally and then join the diagonals. And if you're using the rectangular sheet vertically, then place it vertically and then draw the diagonals and mark the center, okay. So this is the basic funda, okay. Now once you have marked your center like this, okay, this is for those of you who are going to be using the compass, okay. Now those of you who do not have, don't have to worry. I will quickly show you what to do as well, okay. So what we will do is, today we are going to make a rainbow mandala. So basically I will need the 7 circles, correct. So a rainbow obviously has 7 colors. So we will need 7 circles, okay. So I will start here, make a small circle which is already made here. So those kids who know how to use a compass, it is good enough. Those of you who don't know, the parents can help them, okay. Now basically I'm not measuring here. I am taking you know, with my own experience I'm doing it. See, they're almost of the same size, okay. But for you, those of you who want to mark it, you can take a scale and you can just hold it and mark your 1 centimeters like this, okay. Good enough. Here and here, okay, like this. So starting from the center, you will mark your 1 centimeters like this, okay. And the same holds good on this side as well. 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, so on, like this. Now I put my pointer at the center, and starting from this dot that I have marked, I will draw a circle, okay. Just move it, draw the circle, Okay, I am drawing it a little darker because so that it is clearly visible, but you guys can draw it a little lighter because you are going to erase it off at the later stage. Okay, good enough. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles. Okay, that is 7 spaced circles. How many have I drawn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now once we have this, the next stage would be for the people who do not have the circles. I mean the compass. Okay, so this stage you can exempt it completely and take any round shaped bottle cap or anything that is round to mark your center circle like this. A small bottle cap would be the best. So mark your center first and put your bottle cap and mark your mark your circle like this, and after that whatever I show is the same process. Okay, so no need to worry if you don't have a compass. So now what I'm going to do is, usually for any mandala what we do is we use this protractor and we put it at the center like this, that is this center on the center mark of my mandala's center, and then we mark these 10 degrees or 15 degrees and make our lines subsequently. But we are not going to do any intricate work today, so I'm going to do an easier way. You know, so much of marking is going to confuse the kids a lot. So the easier way is, in your smaller circle, first what you do is join and make your like this. Okay, first a vertical and then a horizontal. Then your diagonal lines are already made. Just join the diagonal lines only in the center like this. Now this is the very important step while making a mandala. Those of you who are into art already, basically you can draw the structure without measuring, but to have a more symmetrical mandala, this is the best way to start. Okay, now I have drawn a vertical line first, then a horizontal line, then our two diagonal lines. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, each of these I'm going to divide. Okay, can you see this arc? Divide it into two. This arc, divide it into two equally. Again this arc, divide it into two. Now why am I showing it to you only in the smaller circle is, I will tell you what happens. Okay, then this also divide it into half. Okay, because what happens is, when we try to do it with the entire thing at the same time, there's always a possibility that we are orienting it in the not exactly dividing the circles or the arcs into two halves. It is easier to measure and with your eyesight the smaller arcs. Okay, so first divide your smaller circle arcs and make this entire pattern ready. Okay, so those of you who have not drawn this circle, you're still good enough. You just have to draw a small circle inside and make these lines. Okay, so how many total number of lines we have made? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4 on the inner side. So a total of 8 lines we have made. Okay, now what we are going to do, Now it is easier for us to orient our scale. Okay, so now I will take this side. So I have placed at my center at 20. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so don't bother about the circles. Those of you who have not drawn the circles, just go on marking 1 centimeter dots like this. Okay, so I am making a little darker dot so that you can see it. Okay, just 1 centimeter dots like this. Okay, and the same holds good on this side as well. Okay, like this. Okay, now the same way you're going to turn around and mark your dots throughout the page. Okay, I repeat myself, there's no need to draw the circles. If you have not drawn the bigger circles, no need to worry. Okay, we are still going to follow the same process. Just draw the dots at 1 centimeter using your scale. Okay, so we are going to do this thing for the entire thing. Okay, and then I will be back once this is ready. Okay, so this is how it is going to look once it is ready. Okay, so this is the structure based on which we are going to make our rainbow mandala. Okay, so again I repeat, don't worry about these circles. Now once you have these dots, okay, you have marked them correctly using the scales, you can still join them. Okay, all the circles like this, and your basic structure of the circles will be ready once you mark the dots. So just you have to join the dots like this. Okay, if you want to join, even if you don't join, you can still continue with the pattern, but for this for it to be easier for the kids, it is good enough to have this structure ready. Okay, so once you have made this, all we have to do is join the dots and our mandala is going to be ready. Okay, so we will start from, so these lines are already ready for my purpose. So when you draw your dots and your lines, please draw it a little lightly. Okay, don't draw it as dark as I have drawn it, because I want it to be clear enough in the video. I have drawn it so dark. Because you're going to erase it at the later stage, please draw it a little light. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this is my first vertical line. Okay, and this is my horizontal line. So starting from the vertical line here, okay, so this is my vertical line, remember. So this is the center of the next. So I'm going to join this like this. So from here, join the one dot that is at the center in the next circle. Okay, join the center, join the center, join the center of the next circle. Okay, so you can see that I am leaving one line and joining it to the next one, leaving one line, joining it to the next one, leaving line, joining it to the next one. So I start from here, join it to the center of the next circle, and here I leave one line and join. Okay, join and join. Okay, so now if I remove this, okay, so now see here, so this is your half triangle. Now this corners of the triangle. I'm going to join to the next center. Okay, same way join to the next center in the next circle, center of the next circle. So when I am narrating it as center, the center to this particular triangle. Okay, so this is our triangular arc here, so the center in the next circle. Okay, so join it. So it's almost like a diamond shape that will be formed. So I join like this. Okay, good enough. Now again, this is my first circle, second circle, third circle. Okay, again what I do, I start from here and I join it to this center, this dot, join it, join it, join it. So all I'm going to do is just go on joining the dots to form my mandala. Okay, now from here, join here, join here. So you're going to repeat the process for the entire 7 circles. Okay, so I have retained the recording until now so that it is pretty clearer to you. I will come back once all the 7 circles are ready. Okay, so this is how it is going to look when you join all the dots in the pattern that I showed you. Okay, and all the 7 circles the dots are joined, and this is the pattern that you are going to create. Okay, so you can see that each of the diamond shape will have one dot inside like this. Okay, so if you have achieved this, that means your structure is correct. Okay, now we will be starting with the coloring. Okay, so you have to be, it's a very fun way of coloring. Okay, and we are going to make 3 ways of stages at which you can stop it or you can complete it. Okay, that is up to you, and all 3 of them are going to look perfect. Okay, so the first one would be that you just create the circles and give it to the child to make the rainbow colors. Okay, that is going to be a mandala itself. Okay, a rainbow mandala. Okay, the second one is coloring this one. So how are we going to do that? So very quickly I will take my brushes and start with the coloring part. So I'm going to be using very basic round brushes here. Okay, so there's no need to be very specific about the size of the brush. Whichever your kid is comfortable, he can go ahead and use it. Okay, because that is the reason why I have chosen it to be a very wide spaced mandalas, each of the structures inside the mandala to be very wide so that they can easily color it. Okay, so a 2 number brush or a 0 brush would be what you can use it. And again I specify, you don't have to be very specific. Any round brush would be good enough. Okay, I wouldn't suggest you to use a flat brush like this. Okay, this wouldn't be good to color this. A round brush, this shaped brush of a 0 size and a 2 size would be good enough. Okay, now at this stage what I'll do is I will rub what I've drawn in the center. Okay, so please make sure that you have drawn all the pencil work a little lightly, because you don't want in the final outcome the pencil work to be visible very clearly. Okay, so draw it a little lightly. So now we are going to color here red, and then these triangles orange. Okay, now when we proceed to yellow, what happens is the next diamonds that are there, I'm not going to color this entire thing. I'm only going to color the triangular part. Okay, and I will leave this part empty. Okay, so to show it to you, I have already colored. Okay, so this is our aim. Okay, so I am going to only color the triangular parts of these diamonds that we have made. Okay, so once we have achieved this, we will talk about the next step. Okay, let's not make it very confusing for the kids. So I will start with red, orange, yellow, green, so on till violet, the Vibgyor colors. Okay, so what we are going to do is, for the kids, you can what you can do is, wherever you want them to color red, you can mark it as R like this, and then same way orange O lightly, so that they don't have to be dependent in the coloring phase. Okay, then mark it as yellow like this, these triangles yellow. Okay, then I leave this here also, I have left this, and I will mark it as blue. Okay, so I write it as B. So these tricks are for kids. If the elders are trying it, you can just do it without these markings. So the next color after blue is indigo. So I have marked it as so after yellow, my son would have screamed loudly if I would have done it in front of him. So after yellow is green. So I mark it as green, and then it will be blue, so mark it as blue. Okay, and then it would be indigo, and then at the end violet. So you can just mark it as V. Okay, good enough. So in every diamond shape, we have just marked the top portion. Okay, and we have left the bottom portion blank. Okay, so our painting is going to be in the same fashion. Now at this stage, what I am going to do is, I am going to draw a smaller circle. Okay, I'm drawing it freehand for your own good. So those of you who don't have a compass, don't have to worry. Draw a smaller circle like this. Okay, so here also I'm going to color red here, and I'm going to leave this blank. Okay, So I start painting with my smallest brush because this is a smaller space. Okay, so I am using acrylic colors here. If you have if you're good enough with good to use watercolors, you can use watercolors also, and if you have poster colors, you can use poster colors also. Okay, so I start with red. So for the kids, you can always first draw the border, build your border slowly like this, and then fill in the color. Okay, good enough. So what I am going to quickly do is I will erase all these. Okay, I hope you have understood the concept, because these things are not going to look, I have written it a little darker, so I would suggest you all write it a little lighter in color. Okay, and I will come back. Okay, so I have erased it. We are done with the red. Now we are going to proceed with orange. So it's good to have a tissue handy. Always wipe your brush after you use one color and you're proceeding to the next one. Okay, so these triangles, like I said, we are going to color it orange. So observe that I'm using a thin sized brush only. So first I'm making the borders and then I fill the structure. Border like this, fill in. Okay, very easy. Border, fill in. Border, fill. Okay, border. So once you have told them what has to be colored, you really don't have to, if your kid is a little independent, then you really don't have to sit with them. So they know what color has to be drawn, and you teach them this technique with one of the colors and they will be engaged for almost, I think this will this entire coloring will definitely take an hour. Okay, and if he or she is a little slower, then more than 1 hour, depending on their patience. Okay, so good enough. So we are done with the yellow part. So I will quickly show you the orange part. I will quickly show you the yellow. So I will use the thicker one now. So those of you who have a thicker brush, you can see I'm going to use the same concept, make the borders and fill the color. So I'm only coloring the upper part of the triangle, I mean the diamond. So I'm not coloring this part. So when you do the marking, do it lightly and you can retain it. So make the borders and fill it. Okay, So we are done with yellow. I'm going to start with green now. So the same concept, draw the borders and then fill in. If you are using acrylic colors, I think you can use a little bit of water to make the paints a little flowy. I would suggest that you don't add your water to the paints. Like I have also not added the water to the paints. What I'm doing is every time I'm taking the paint, I'm just dipping my brush in the water and draining the excess water and then taking my paint. So what happens is it eases my flow of painting. So just draw the border and fill in. So I guess everybody has understood the pattern of coloring now. So we are going to only color the upper triangle of the entire diamond shapes that we have. So I will color this green and then this blue, indigo, and then violet. And at that stage I would come back. Okay. So this is how it will look after you color the upper parts of the diamonds, only the triangular parts. Okay, and it looks gives a beautiful rainbow color vision, and you can leave it up to at this stage as well. It looks beautiful as it is. Now the next stage, if you still want to further go and improve this to a next level, then for that I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay, so what we are going to do is these things we are going to build the rainbow the other way around. Okay, so I'm going to start red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. So that is the reason why I had asked you to leave this space for violet. Now if you had observed when I said green, it actually coincides with the green here. Okay, so red, orange, yellow and green. So it is just beside this dark green. So if I color this entire thing, my pattern wouldn't be visible correctly. Correct? So that is the reason what I am going to do is I am going to use a lighter shade of the green here and the darker would be here. So that would make my distinction very clear. Okay, so let's quickly start. I will show you the inner ones first. So I'm going to start with violet like that. Okay, so I'm going to color violet. Okay, so my violet is still wet, so I have to be a little careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make the diamonds like we have made on the top. Okay, you can mark it with the pencil first. I'm trying to do it as it is to save time. So just draw the triangle below the triangle. Okay, with violet color. I would suggest that after you do the first round, let the colors dry completely if you have used the paints, and then you do the next round, I mean the round that we are doing right now. Okay, because there is a possibility that the kids might smudge the paints. Okay, so it's better. Or if they are really excited, what you can do is you can use a dryer to dry out the paints completely, and then you can proceed with this level. Okay, like I said, you can leave the mandala at this stage, rub out the pencil marks, and it is superb already. Okay, so it's a lotus shaped mandala in Sanskrit, and it has also got religious importance. It's called the Chakrabja Mandala, not exactly, but it looks similar, and it'll look really beautiful as a wall decor. But if you want to proceed further, this is the way you can do. Okay, so if the kids are watching this, see that I'm always using the tip of my brush. Okay, so that is the best way to color. See, though I am using such a thick brush, I am still able to make thin lines like this. That is because I am concentrating, all the focus is on the tip of my brush. Okay, so good enough. So that's my violet. So there's a little bit of extra violet that is done here, that's fine. Now I will proceed to indigo. Okay, so after my violet, I'm going to fill in indigos here. Okay, and then blue, and I will meet you when I'm doing the green part. Okay, so this is how it looks once we have completed the violet and indigo and blue. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken green, lighter shade of the green, and I'm trying to color the adjacent triangle. So whichever brush you use, always remember, try to first create the structure with the border and then fill in the shape. So see, though we are doing the greens, there's a nice distinction of the shape because we are using different shades of green. Okay, so depending on the amount of patience your kid has, you can decide at which stage you want to stop the mandala. Like I said, you can just draw the 7 circles, ask them to just draw the Vibgyor colors in the sequence. That becomes a mandala, simple mandala. Then you join the dots and color only the top portion of the mandalas to make something like this. And if they still are excited, then you can go ahead and fill the colors in the reverse fashion of the Vibgyor. And let's see what we will be able to see at the end. Okay, so I will finish coloring green yellow and orange and red, then in these spaces, and then let's see how we will end up. So after we complete the coloring, this is how it looks, and it's come amazingly, superbly beautiful. And see the distinction of the colors. This way there's from red to violet, and then this way it is again red to violet. So this is a beautiful way to keep the kids engaged with the painting. It's a simple concept because they already know the colors, and you can just if they are not still capable of making the patterns, you can help them making the patterns using the video, or if they are good enough with the patterns as well, they can try. I have shown you with and without the compass, so I hope you all will try it and have fun making the mandalas. Okay, so if you make more mandalas apart from this one, do share it with me. I will be happy to see your works and share my comments on that. Do share, like, and subscribe to the channel, and let me know your comments in the feedback about that. Is very, very important. That will really help me. Thank you.